So Nathan Cleverly is fighting for the WBA regular light heavyweight title out in Germany against Juergen Braehmer this weekend. It's a good fight. In terms of retrospective talent, that sort of level that they're fighting at, I think this is a good fight. This is not certainly the cream of the 175 division. It's a step below that, but the world level fighters, Braehmer, Cleverly, and I think it'll be a decent fight. I think classic sort of boxer. Bramer's a bit of a puncher as well. According to his record, he hasn't really faced anyone, but he can dig a bit. Uh, Classic sort of boxer versus a brawler. Nathan Cleverly will come brawl, try and bring the fight on the inside. Scrap it out, a high punch output, wear you down, and he's good. He doesn't sort of smother his own work, which is good, but it is slightly scrappy in terms of the style itself. But it will make for a classic, I think, in terms of not an absolute classic or anything, but it'll make for a very good fight. I think it's a decent fight. It's tough to say where either guy's gonna go holding this sort of regular phony title, but it's a tough one. It, you know, we have to look at it. I guess 2 or 3 fights down the line, maybe a Kovalev rematch for a Kovalev or Ward sort of fight for one of the two, or Kovalev rematch for maybe Nathan Cleverly. Adonis Stevenson's also there. I know the WBA have this sort of rule that they don't unify the WBA regular. So maybe one of them drops it, or the loser might go on to face Adonis Stevenson. I know he's supposed to be facing Elado Alvarez. I'm not sure what's going on with that fight, but that fight's in the works also. So for me, it's very very tough to see where these guys go later down the line. Although the fight is good, but I really have my I've reserved judgment in terms of the winner and where they kind of go. It's very you know, it's not. I wouldn't say it's hard to say, as I said that already, but it kind of brings an end to their sort of one of the guys' sort of top level career. I guess you could say that in terms of if they lose, how far a road is it back? Can they come in against another sort of top level fighter, top 10, top 15, Joe Smith Jr., someone like that who's made a name for himself by beating Fonfara recently? It's very hard. It's very hard to look at it like that. So I guess we'll talk about that later on, and who wins, who loses, what kind of the winner and loser will get out of the fight, I guess. But for the fight itself, I mean, as I said, brawler versus boxer. You know what? Irish Tom, I'll be honest, has taught me a pretty key lesson that the boxer 90% of the time wins. Unless you have a very very smart sort of brawler, it's very hard to pick against the boxer, and I think Juergen Braehmer is going to win this fight. It's going to be a very very close fight. I think on the in terms of the actual eye, it's going to be a very close fight. The scorecards may not suggest that will be tight, but I think Jurgen Braehmer will just shade it, and maybe that's due to hometown decision, or maybe just due to the cleaner work. But I think Jurgen Braehmer is going to shade this fight. It's going to be one of those fights that is going to be that pick what you like. Jack Arnfield, sort of John Ryder, maybe fight if you're liking it to a UK fight, a recent UK domestic scrap. So yeah, obviously this is a higher level, but it's going to be one of those sort of fights. Braehmer hasn't faced anyone. We know the first time he actually he didn't really face anyone. He lost against a sort of extreme pressure fighter. Obviously, he had some problems going to prison or something like that. And he's come back and won the fight. Won all of his fights since. He hasn't really faced anyone. Obviously, he's faced Krasniki, Gutnecht, those sort of European level guys. I'd say they're just standard European level. They're not really fringe world level. Or they're not domestic sort of level. They're just European guys. And he's kind of been traveling around the European circuit in terms of the fighters he's been fighting. So we don't really know what Braehmer is. He's an unknown entity. Sorry, coming into the fight. But for me, he's got skills. He looks like he has a decent dig on him. He can box from range. I think he doesn't have the worst of chins either. So I think in terms of what we know of what we actually do know of him, he looks to be the part. Can he replicate it on the night? Very tough to say. Nathan Cleverly's been around the block. He's obviously lost to Sergei Kovalev, but he's beaten some good sort of fringe contenders. Najib Mohammadi, Tommy Kopenci, those sort of guys. Kuziemski, who obviously won the vacant title. There's a few others. Obviously, he moved up to cruiserweight for fought a few guys he's supposed to beat. Sean Corbin, those sort of guys, I think. And obviously lost to Bellew. He beat Bellew down at light heavyweight. So he's been around the block. He's beaten some good sort of fighters. Fringe world level guys to kind of get where he's at. Obviously, he's had that great fight with Andre Fonfara. That was a fantastic fight as well. So, you know, Nathan Cleverly is a good fighter. I'm not discrediting him whatsoever. And do you know what? I do think he could possibly win this fight. There's a massive possibility that he could win this fight. And you know what? I might even put a cheeky bet on Nathan Cleverly. I think he may be the slight outsider, a very slight outsider. I'm not sure, but I'd have to check the odds again. I might put a cheeky bet on him because I think he can do it. But the only thing is, I'm worried about the hometown, sort of scoring. We've had it over here in the UK with a few fights as well. So it's very tough to say. I don't know I don't know how the judges are going to score it. They're going to score the sort of punch output, hand speed of Cleverly. He's got good hand speed as well, or they're going to possibly score the sort of lower output, but maybe more quality from Juergen Braehmer. So it could be, as I said, it's a very subjective fight. Pick what you like, I guess, and we'll have to wait and see. But this is a 50-50. I certainly think this is a 50-50. I'm not going to sit on the fence like I did with Coral Linares, but from the first one I knew Linares would be way too much for Crawler. So, but from this, I'm going to go with Jurgen Braehmer. You know, maybe maybe against my heart, but and maybe my mind even slightly, but I'm going to pick Braehmer. Maybe UD only just 7-5, and maybe maybe even closer, maybe in a round, around in between 115, 114 possibly. Yeah, it's going to be a very tight fight, but on from 8 o'clock, Sky Sports. So all the boxing fans I know. Cleverly's got a good sort of fan base out there. He's built himself up well. So good luck to him. And if not, if something goes wrong, he has a maths degree to fall on. So best of luck to the guy. And hopefully he does as well as he did in the Fonfara fight. He doesn't really play to Braehmer's style. I think he goes in and does what he needs to do. He'll win the fight. But as I said, best of luck to him. I'm going to pick Braehmer just and. Yeah, let me know your thoughts on Braehmer Cleverly. It's going to be a tough fight. Price is on the undercard. O'Hara Davis on the undercard. I'm going to pick them to win as well. But yeah, not really too much interest in those sort of ones they're facing. Knockover jobs. This is the big one. Uh, so yeah, let me know your thoughts on Cleverly Braehmer, all the undercard fights, and yeah, anything else to do with any news surrounding them as well. Have you got any tips as to how they looked in sparring and that sort of stuff? Please let me know. Enjoy the video. Please give a thumbs up, subscribe and share so it gets out to our larger boxing audience. As I said in my previous video, we've getting very close to 200 subscribers. So thank you very much to the people that have been helping pushing the channel, and really appreciate it. Take care, guys. Speak to you very soon. Peace.